Hey everyone, it's Bob Crossen. I'm the editorial director for Wastewater Digest. I'm joined today by Susan Moisio. She's the global VP of Jacobs and also our 2024 Industry Icon. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for this award.
Of course.
I'm so honored and humbled.
Yeah, I was very elated that we had chosen you, and talking with you and your colleagues more, it firmed up more and more. I was like, yeah, she's the right choice for us this year. So we were so excited. But so we're here at WETEC at the start of it, so I know you haven't been able to see much yet, if anything.
Yeah.
As you were approaching this show, what were some of the things you were thinking about when you wanted to come here? What did you want to see? What were you looking forward to seeing? Was it technology? Was it thought leadership? And what were those things that you were honing in on?
Okay. Well, it's all of the above. So I was looking forward to understanding the trends in the water and wastewater area, and I'm very excited about this concept of one water. And the concept of one water from the standpoint of looking at across the water cycle and across all of water. And so let me kind of dig into that a little bit, because that change has changed the way that I approach WETEC. And a little bit of my background, I started in wastewater collection. So I started outside the fence, out in the collection system. And over time, I've come to understand that we tend to silo how we talk about water. And here we are at WETEC. It's billed as the biggest wastewater event in the world, and I agree with that. And when we look at what is being presented by my team and by others, it is a lot about wastewater or water resources recovery, but it's also about stormwater, and there's a drinking water component woven through there. And so when I look at this, I look at how are we connecting all of this together, and how does all water have value? And if all water has value, then I think we need to step back and not necessarily say that it is wastewater or drinking water or stormwater or groundwater. And if we can pull back and think like that, then I think the solutions that we come forward with will look at that entire water as a whole. And so I'm excited about that. Okay. And as we're looking at it and digging into that further, I'm looking for trends such as the water, energy, and food nexus. Okay. So water and energy we've been looking at for a long time. How do we optimize how we're treating our wastewater and our water, and how are we managing our collection systems or our water distribution systems? But I think the conversation needs to step back even further and bring in how is food engaged in that, and whether it is agriculture or whether it is the type of water you're using for ag, or whether it is the production of food and beverage. And so that's when I come to WETEC, I want to see, okay, is that the conversation that we're having here at WETEC, and then where is that going?
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad you brought up food and beverage, because I do feel that a big component of this show that sometimes feels a little hidden is that food and beverage, that industrial, more privatized water, wastewater side of things. And when you think about one water, you have to kind of look at it from that perspective, because for years, the way that we've looked at it is almost like the enemy, like they're discharging into the waterways and stuff, but why can't they be partners, right? That's kind of the way it feels like it's reframing now of how do we make them into partners? How do we help them help us, essentially, right?
Yes.
So, what are you hearing on that side? Do you engage that much with that industrial, that more privatized element?
We do at Jacobs. We definitely do, and we look at it. It's definitely a different group of folks within Jacobs than the ones that work with our municipal clients. However, we do have clients in the industrial area, and I find that's really the area that is the most interesting conversations. And so they are looking at it from not only a reuse standpoint, not only what can they do within their processes, but what when they are going to go and build somewhere, do they have adequate water supply, and what is the quality of that water? And I think that's where we could start looking as an industry in a water sector is it is something we need to address.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited about that piece of it.
Well, it perfectly dovetails with your water energy food nexus equation
Yes,
as well,
it does.
right? So
I'm excited about that one.
But I want to go too on that. When I think about water, and there's also the agricultural component that's a big part, especially out west, where there's a lot of challenges of like how much goes to ag, how much goes to residents, how much goes, one of the things that I also was really fascinated by when I did some interviews and research on PFAS was the PFAS and biosolids equation and land application of biosolids and the challenges evolving from that. So it's not even just the water side, it's also this biosolids and that element as well. So it extends so much further than I would have thought. And looking at that equation, I was like, wow, wastewater plays a really important role in just the water, like just the way that food is done in the United States today, from fertilizing land.
Right. And if you think about it and take it out and stop calling it wastewater, so just water.
Yeah.
And how does that entire process, and are we with PFAS in the equation, what does that mean to land application, and can we continue to do that? How do we do that? And then how do we manage PFAS in the watershed? How do we manage PFAS in our drinking water? And of course our biosolids. So again, I think it is that total equation for the total process.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate chatting with you. It was great to catch up and hear some of the things you're thinking about, and I'll be thinking about those for the rest of the show now too.
Awesome. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it.
And for everybody who's watching, you can check out our video description below to read an article about Susan Moisio as well, our industry icon for 2024.